Today I would like to summarize a polar movie instead of the apocalypse that happened. The Cataclysm was recorded in Khan's program, and thanks to a person who was forewarned to play 106 giants showing all kinds of sims. Viettel. That creates a new world. Later the story begins when God created Adam and Eve. A cockroach appeared and ate the forbidden fruit. At the same time, Eve invited Adam to his forbidden fruit. After God knew about this, he was very angry and pushed the two out of the paradise district. Then the two gave birth to 23 sons, but the older brother's name was reprinted. For the Easel people, this is the first criminal to write, the first person in cold history who heard this story to the heart or forever lost but time after the descendants of something like that used up the Phi and Quan commune. We quickly had a wide range of depression, leading to the development of other diseases that were in danger until the world left only the descendants of the third son who lived well and the people who died. It was Luis, but right from when he was young, Gain's descendants came to remind him that he had just beaten his father to death right in front of him, causing Joe to flee to the land. Many years later, she has a wife and 2 children. Suddenly one. The day when I was sitting on the ground, a drop of water fell and immediately sprouted a baby. That night, I dreamed that I was flooded with water everywhere, engulfing the human program immediately. That the earth is about to have a disaster. The program quickly goes up to my grandfather's money mountain. I look at taking the whole family of 5 to go. Passing a group of people who had just been picked up by the descendants of Kuznetsov, who were everywhere, they found that a little girl was injured for free, but when she appeared by Gain's descendants, the whole family had to quickly flee. But the other group also chased and killed but ran across a border of human skulls. The other group stopped. Turns out this is the place where the skulls were preparing to fall that year, and the angels helped. All the people who had self-destruction were discovered by God, so God punished the land of stone 6-1 souls. The angels had to stay and have not returned yet, but Garin's descendants wanted to chase them away. Together kill the land of clouds. That Moi's grandfather is responsible for them at that time. The angel prayed more and more to God, but he looked forward to it and still could not return when Christmas said to Kim, he is his descendant himself. Your brother made the angel immediately send him to the new alley of their grandfather. They went into the stadium to find Faye's grandfather after he wrote the story. Video Emily, rolled back Sony laughing back only to the trash turned out to want to press the launch of all kinds of people that made her guide her to create 6 large coins to incur additional fees. Innocent Earth. After that, Grandpa Aloe 1 seed brought back to use the forum. Zidane Noal planted the seed on the ground, and then the next morning suddenly a running man water flowed endlessly and then immediately say big should become a large area. This is the raw material needed to make the ship. When the angel saw the stranger, he also agreed to help them with the labor problem. Thinking is also solved. God is also through the water working everywhere, informing all the animals upstream. To a long time after the grandson has finished, the first day of going in is the flying jackfruit creature into the ship. Before that, because the number was too large, to solve the problem of food, the wife of Mr. Internal Medicine burned herbs to really sprinkle the animals, only remembering that there were couples with children. 2 also asked the father to get one for himself. At this time, all kinds of colors fought each and every good. Twee came in later but very quickly. Then the descendants of Garin also discovered where the second son was. 2 is working, so Beget. He took the ship's expected location after missing, got caught up in the cataclysm. Susan said he also wanted to enter this ship, but Viettel immediately obeyed God's orders. Hearing this, he wanted to let people get on the train to throw away the machine. At this time, the porcelain Sims who stood to protect DuPont had not prepared weapons, so they could only help feed him, but it turned out that he was the one who killed Noai's father that year. He may soon be back with all his troops. DuPont immediately went home and gathered all his troops, ready their weapons and regrouped to the freight train. On this side, the large shell close also received. Of course, they have been arranged to accommodate everyone on board, but the fish don't need to be taken away because they don't drown. That evening, my grandmother ran out to find a wife for her son to hear the screams of the anniversaries of the foreigners and saw everyone eating on the occasion of the festival, and really changed the descendants of Kangans like the incarnations of Atla. Copyright Tico, the evil with together. The human world is like Christmas hell, regardless of quickly leaving. 6 couldn't find a wife for his son anymore, but the son kept insisting on getting a wife. So he and Louis got into an argument. He was angry. He ran to find his wife like installments, only one girl left. But Faye's wife was infertile, so she had to go to her grandfather to help her not long after her second child, then found a girl who only used the food position to change the girl's consent. The day the girl was going to starve for a long time. The only girl looking at her face, looking at the face that had been to Manchester to receive the girl at this time. It started to rain, but still buying this is forecasted to last up to 30 days. Tuban Inedible decided to 10 format gather everyone to go to the pool LOE. At this time, the second son was quickly bringing his wife home, but the girl was not careful enough to reduce the number of points by 7, and the army of Seabank was already close enough behind ZMA LOE to appear. Tweed Wong, the son who went to ask his daughter, was farted by lightning, and the descendant of Gain rushed towards the ship. The banks were protecting the ship and all kinds of evil plastic rushed to noal. And the second son was able to successfully enter the ship at this time. The number of keys to shoot to command the total victory later was achieved. Thien Hoan Awin Kim Phi, then using a spear to stab the data film in the next 10 days made Tien Dung's eyes closed, but these days it is God's forgiveness that more numbers are stabbed into the film. Then he was immediately sent back to heaven for another session. Ha Tui Samsung to protect any of Faye's but didn't like the cruelty of other people. Having to sacrifice the time to borrow the leader now also broke his leg, but the people have also cleared each of their lines of origin. Noal directly happened. The fighter who stood in the middle of the wise leader, Hung, was free to enter the door at the waist. A moment later, there was only one left. More resistance charges, but right at the moment when Thien Phu finally returned to the god, the ground cracked and charged up the giant clothes. Adonis punched a hole on the home side to create a hole that only took care of the great flood that had engulfed everywhere. Not only is there electricity and water, only Louise Vincom's family has closed the door, but outside the sound of people's cars everywhere they have paid each other is like an unexpected promise. That coupon also got it, so the second son saw it but didn't say anything, so DuPont used this to brainwash him so that he thought it was you who did. Examining his daughter Lasana tells everyone a story that when the world was first created with 4 tails, it was just a piece of darkness, so God created him to be the sun. The next day it entered the earth. On the 3rd day, the earth began to have water, and on the 4th day in the morning, created the most ferocious plants and birds of the sky. On the 5th day all the laws of meaning were surpassed. All are equal and beautiful like a paradise. Then God created Adam and Eve, but they listened to the snake that stole or banned in the Garden of Eden, which was then descended from Adam and very quickly released. War and destruction of God in the human category is the source of the crime, so decided to use the type of people. Noal decided that his family would not breed any more who survived. Then will bury the dead who did not expect the daughter-in-law at first for. Can't give birth and postpone pregnancy. Turns out grandpa hasn't been successful for her. Where I found out this sim is very angry, thinking this is betraying the interests of God, so tell them if it is a boy, let it live until the end of its life, and if it is a girl, immediately kill it and take advantage of this agency to give the second child. Then inciting him to bring his fathers, only then can people live long with this stupid fool who tricked his father into the dark to give him time to sneak up on him from behind like that one. The life and death battle erupted at this moment. The other girl also had an unexpected birth that made him and the eldest son because he wanted to protect his daughter, who wanted to kill her father before she hit him with a stick. Wow. But Sakambank blew him away so that the LOE consulting program would finish saying that we will occupy this wife and daughter-in-law in a critical situation. The second son, Tui, does not link him because of the cruel statement. When he cried, the young man immediately changed his opinion to the place where the child cried, took the knife, and immediately sent his daughter-in-law, who was holding 2 children, who were afraid of Christmas. Sony is about to finish unseen. His 2 children were so soft-hearted, but his lineage was not in the county. He told God that he could not take action, so Jackson left at this time. Simple sound card. 1 new city signaled that there was a mainland outside. From then on, the Dove and Khan voucher for peace and Christmas ran aground and tops under Adalat at the conference. And now the second son has been found, also based on the choice to send alone. This movie is taken from the story of the grandson in the Bible. The rainbow appears as the promise of the district to not let the flood happen again. All the reasons for this story are due to Gain's jealousy because he couldn't comprehend God's words, so he made mistakes while doing research after God punished him. Finally received forgiveness, so making a mistake is not scary, it's scary not knowing what's wrong or if the website still does it. This is the end and thank you very much. Bye. Comment. Wait for more movies.